Stand by for us. I want to bring in Congressman Scott Rigell, Republican from Virginia and a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thanks for being with us. We've been looking at your Twitter, your tweets and what you've been putting out. And this morning you were tweeting that you would vote no on a U.S. military attack on Syria. Why would you vote no, and under what conditions might you vote yes?
Given the information that I have right now, I would vote no. The process that so many of us in Congress and the House of Representatives are calling on the President to follow is the one defined and outlined in our Constitution. He does not have the authority, absent one of the three provisions of the War Powers Act being triggered, to engage U.S. forces without first seeking and obtaining statutory authorization. That's what we're calling him to do, and I'm hopeful that he will do this.
Under what conditions might you support military action?
Well, you presented me with a hypothetical there that we'd really have to work through all of that. Our focus here is limited to the process. The threshold for me personally, given the circumstances there in Syria, it's a cauldron of confusion. The ramifications, the long-term outcome of all of this has such dire consequence that my threshold is very high. I would be open,
what is
though,
that?
if the
What is that
President
threshold? Is it if the U.S. intelligence report that we're learning that's coming out today does show that international law was broken by Syria's government, if we also do get positive information from the investigation by the UN investigators, would that be that high bar for you?
No, I really believe that the outcome of that investigation will show that chemical weapons were used and that the fingerprints of the Assad regime are upon that horrific attack. I don't question that that's really how this is going to unfold. The question before us, of course, is what then is our obligation, and also the process by which we come to this decision. This Capitol behind me, this beautiful Capitol, is empty largely. And yet a vigorous debate took place in the Parliament in Britain. And here we are. I find it ironic, given the history of our two countries, that here we have the President operating, and I say this understanding the seriousness of it, it is not the King's Army. He must come before Congress, get statutory authority. This is not a trite matter. It's how it's defined in our Constitution.
But might the President be looking at the Congress and saying that the U.S. Congress has been polarized, unable to act, and therefore, based on the last two Congresses, how might he expect quick action or definitive action or decision from this Congress?
No better way to answer that than to look at the signatories on the letter that I offered, and also Barbara Lee, a separate but similar letter, has 50 Democrats. We have 21 Democrats on our letter. 140 members are on the letter that I offered, and I'm just honored to have that kind of bipartisan support. If you eliminate the duplicates, as Zoe Lofgren pointed out last night, a Democratic congresswoman on the same show, she said, look, we've got 180 right now that are calling on the President firmly, respectfully, to slow down, to call us into session. And if the evidence is compelling, and if his strategic objective is clearly defined, you give the American people good information, they'll make good decisions. Here we are leaning upon the British Parliament, taking guidance from that.
Well, Representative, then what would you suggest then? What would be the solution, since you're saying no to all this?
Well, what I'm saying no to is the President.
What would you say yes to? What's your suggestion then?
I would say yes to the President following the guidelines and what is so clearly delineated in the Constitution. He calls us into session. We can be here in 24 hours. We could have, say, perhaps 12 hours to debate and deliberate, and then vote an up or down vote, both houses, a concurrent resolution, one way or the other. That is the right process, and there's much to be gained by that.
Representative Scott Rigell, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us.
Thank you.